Yeah, so I'm here with Kevin Geisheimer of the Steinbach Pistons today. Thank you for coming on and doing this.
Yeah, and awesome, Chris. Thanks for welcoming me into your space.
You're with the Pistons now for
Yep.
a second time.
Yep.
What is your job title and what do you do now exactly?
My role with the Pistons is Director of Operations. What does that mean? I think it's looking closer at the team's budget and then helping operate all of the little things that go on with the team. And so I think as the team has grown and as we're getting ready to go into this brand new Southeast Event Center, super exciting, the opportunities just gotten bigger than Paul and Jamie. And so there was an ask, hey, would you like to come back and help fill this role to take away responsibility from Paul, but also help lead and guide Jamie on our strategy for sales and marketing? And I said, sound like a really cool opportunity to get back in the community and back into sport, which has always been a passion of mine. And so I said yes.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, back into sports. How long were you gone away from the Pistons? It was a few years.
Yeah,
sure, eh?
Well, just quick journey on that. Like I started with the radio station back in 2000 and I think it was 8 already. And then the Pistons came in 2009. And then I remember wanting to be a part of it. So covering the team, and then ended up broadcasting the games. I moved on from the radio station to go work for the Pistons in 2014 and was there for 4 years. And then I moved on to High Life and became the director of marketing and communications there over time. And I was there for 6 years. And now I'm back here with the Steinbach Pistons for round 2.0.
Yeah. So yeah, and then in case anybody doesn't know, but maybe everybody knows, you were the original voice of the Pistons, and you were there when they won their first championship.
Correct.
I was up in the press box in the old arena with you there. Yes, because they won in Steinbach. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that's exciting. That was fun.
It was fun. It was a pretty cool memory, and I know just working with Randy Wogemuth at that time too, it was pretty special. Like the team was not the greatest. We could barely win 10 games in a season, and then all of a sudden the new community ownership came in and we won a championship. Who would have thought?
Yeah, and they weren't even like top of the league going into the playoffs.
No, it was kind of we were middle of the road.
Yeah, making the
not
playoffs
the worst, not
was
the best.
a big accomplishment that year, and then next thing you know, they won the first round.
It was like, let's win a playoff game.
Yeah.
And I remember the ownership at the time, the community ownership that was led by Grant Lazaruk's like, no, it's road to the Turnbull Cup. And everyone's like, what? Like, we just won a playoff game here, guys. And kept winning. And there was a lot of cool energy that time.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. So, yeah. And then talking about the Pistons brand, marketing, branding, that's what we're interested in here. But we can definitely talk about all the other stuff. I like talking about hockey. I could talk about hockey for an hour here, but we'll try to keep it a little bit marketing relevant as well. So, yeah, the Pistons brand, how does it reflect kind of the community? Because you had a big piece in establishing that brand early on already. Now you're back again.
Yeah.
You know the community just as well as anybody. How does the Pistons brand, how does it reflect Steinbach, Southeast Manitoba?
Well, I think first off, the vision of the team is to be the best junior team in Canada. But how do we go about doing that? Well, the mission of the team is to do that by building young men. Character, leadership, and integrity are key pieces of that. But also by being heavily involved in the community. And so how do we become the best junior team in Canada, maybe North America? I think it's Canada, but we should probably grow that, because I think the team has done a pretty good job of developing a pretty cool product here in Steinbach and southeastern Manitoba over the last, I think it's been 15 years. And now with the new building, we have a really cool platform to play with to try to strive to be that. But the big piece there is by developing young men. And as we develop young men of character, leadership, and integrity and get fully engaged with our community, we feel that wins and championships will just transpire and will be successful organically. And so those are the key components that we've tried to build around that Pistons logo. So so when you see that logo, that's the brand story that kind of comes along with it.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, and that filters out into the community, building up
Correct, yeah.
quality men, and then they spread out and they do so much stuff in the community. You see them all over the place.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily like, well, we want to win championships, don't get me wrong. But I think as you develop young men and as you do that, it just creates a place where people want to be. You're going to organically attract the best talent in Canada because they're going to want to be a part of the story. And as we get involved and prioritize the community and we invest in the community, then the community is going to want to invest in the team. So that's organically going to transpire to fans filling the building. It's also going to organically transpire to people wanting to sponsor the team. Mm-hmm. And then that's going to help us from a financial side of things to continue our vision to being the best team in Canada.
Yeah. So, well, you mentioned sponsorships. Actually, let's talk about the new building because that's kind of the most exciting thing to happen in this area in a long time. Mm-hmm. So the new facility, it's opening in like, we're going to be playing games there. That's a question mark still. We wait. You'll be playing games there soon. Yeah. Probably. Well, definitely be playing games there. So I'm not going to hammer you about dates and all that kind of stuff. You probably get that.
Well, I can give a general synopsis on that, but and I'm not sure exactly when we're going to be airing this live, but the goal is keys here at the beginning of March. We can actually move in. Ice is being made. Okay. And it's been going. I mean, the ice plant was turned on. Let's quickly check here. Today's the don't want to date this, but anyways, right. it was turned on here in the middle of February, and it's looking good. And if we can move in beginning of March, the goal is, can we play a hockey game on March 14th? Could be playing 2 regular season games. That's the goal. Okay. And then the playoffs are March 21st. But the goal right now is for sure to be in there for March 21st. But could we sneak into at least before we go all out in the playoffs for that another championship?
Yeah, awesome. So what are the features in this new building that you're most excited about? That you are, the team?
I look at the building from a macro perspective, and I think it's just unreal for our community. Like, I get to walk in there, and I do get the privilege of taking some people through tours if we're trying to show them, hey, this is what your club seat could look like, or a sponsorship, or there's multiple different people that have gone through, and we hope to get all of our season ticket holders through there here in the next little while before we start to play, just to show them where their seats are and get accustomed. But it's just beautiful. When you walk in, it's like, even when you talk to the construction workers, they say it's like try not to spare on the finishes of the building. We want the region to be proud of it. And I think they will be. When you walk in, it's pretty special. And you're like, this is in our region. This is in southeastern Manitoba. And so, I mean, it's comfortable. The seats are fantastic. There's not really a bad seat in the house from a food perspective. Super excited about that. We have corporate chef JP Charpentier, and he's got a head chef, 2 sous chefs. So we're going to be to execute on great food. So that's important when you go and watch an event of any kind. If it's a hockey game, we have club suites and suites, so we can create an elevated experience for those that want another elevated experience. So you don't need to go to the Canada Life Center to experience state of the art. We can do that now in our community, in our region, and host businesses there. Our dressing room is unreal. It's second to none. I think it's no one. We are above, I think, we're definitely above everyone in our league. And I think arguably it's right there along with like the Jet space. I think it's been pretty cool. All the money that was used for that space has been fundraised, and just to give clarity, how did we pay for this? I mean, all the profits that the team has made over the last while, because it is a non-for-profit, has been saved and put into making this come a reality. And we've done more fundraising, but it's a pretty special space. The players are going to love it. And then, I mean, the boards, they're the new flex boards. It's new official ice. So we're excited to play on a big ice surface. Yeah, we've got some cool jumbotrons that are we have 2 of them on each wall. They're 3 times bigger than the one in our old rink on each wall. We have 8 camera angles, 4 manned. We have a new prod room that we can provide cool game day experiences. I mean, it's not going to be NHL, but we can aspire to some of the things that they do and actually achieve some of those in our building. So from a game day experience, from a comfort standpoint, I can't remember exactly. I think the old building had 40 toilets and this one's got over 150. So the concept there is it's just easier and more accommodating. Fans will have a better time from an accessibility perspective. It's super accessible. We've got lots of good accessible seats, where before we kind of created a ramp in the corner right along the ice. It was cold. Now they got a good viewing angle from up top. So, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. This facility is just going to do so much for our region, and specifically for the Pistons. It's going to help take us to the next level.
Mm-hmm. And no more low ceiling swallowing up pucks.
No, and the ceiling's high. The lighting's great. Sound system's going to be, I haven't heard it yet, but you see all the big speakers up on there. And I can't wait to hear something through there for the first time. I know we're working on goal horns and all that fun stuff right now as we're getting ready. What is it going to sound like? So yeah, it's going to be neat.
That's cool. So you're obviously hyped up. You get me all hyped up. You talk about bringing fans through their season tickets. What are you doing? What are you doing to get the community excited about it? Or you don't have to do anything. Everybody's excited about it. Everyone sees it.
Well, we've been doing we've been selling season tickets, and that's been going well. We now shifted to 10-game packs. It was hard to say, like, buy tickets for the playoffs, because in the past we would sell tickets per round. And so I think our old building allowed us to grow our fan base to a certain level. And then it topped up because our building was only so big, and it wasn't comfortable. It wasn't accessible. It wasn't a great place to necessarily. Some would argue some love the old school look, but you're sitting on 2x6s. It's cold. If someone had wet boots behind you, well, it might be impacting your pants. Like, it wasn't a comfortable place to be. It was hard to get up and down the stairs. It wasn't proper railing. Washrooms were tricky. Concessions were far and few between. And so I think our building is providing that excitement, and people are excited when they see visuals of it. And we're trying to find different packs. We hope to release single game tickets just prior to our first game, a week. So we're trying to sell packs and get people committed, and we've had a great response from the community overall. So I think the building itself is created excitement and the visuals of it, but I think it's people haven't seen it. So I think it's going to be, once they get in and see it, I think it's going to create a whole nother level of excitement for our community, and then it's going to be a little easier to sell those season passes because they're going to just want to be in there. But overall, I think this gives us an opportunity to grow our Pistons fan base to new people. And so we created the 10-game pack to make it easy. Just buy 10 games. Come out to the rink, be a part of the energy, and you can renew for next year instead of trying to sell round by round by round by round as we go into the playoffs, which can be confusing to someone who doesn't quite understand how that all works.
Awesome. Yeah. So we touched on this a little bit too. The arena's bigger. There's more places for sponsorships, and there's you mentioned there's now 2 big jumbotrons.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
There's lots of opportunity to be a part of the building. I mean, we've been selling a lot of it already, so all the board signs and decals, because obviously that had to be in before we put ice. A lot of it. I mean, if you remember the old rink, we kind of had what we call the NASCAR approach on that back wall. It was just a array of sponsorships on that back wall in the Centennial Arena. And so this building allows us to, do that differently, maybe more professionally, but also help give local businesses more exposure, because we're going to be able to draw people in here like never before. And yes, we have these 2 big screens. And so we do have digital opportunities to be a part of it, and we have been selling those. We also have naming right opportunities. I mean, lots of them have been snapped up for the if you want to have naming partnerships with our club zone, to naming partnerships with the gymnasium, with naming partnerships for all the different areas. You can be a part of this building and the legacy of it. And so we started looking for the walking track and the playground. Because there is a playground in the building that's open all the time to the community for free. And so that's pretty neat. And so we're looking for a few places. We're still looking for sponsorships on a few, but yes, there's a lot of opportunities. And from a Pistons perspective, on Pistons game days, we just have to learn how to activate the building, and that's going to create new opportunities. If it's a fan cam, if it's a t-shirt gun cannon, well, we can get those things sponsored, and you can be a part of the actual game energy and in front of a fan base that's passionate about our community and passionate about the team. It's pretty unique when it comes to sponsorships and advertising to do sports sponsorships, because there's just an emotion that's attached to the Pistons logo that is maybe a little bit more unique than the energy attached to Solis Sphere marketing.
Yeah.
Right. So like people are buying to put our logo on, and you can be a part of that. And we're still trying to figure out all the different ways that can happen during a game, because we got to get in there and start playing around. But
yeah, people are paying to wear your brand around, whereas we
Correct.
give them to whoever we can. And
who wants to wear it?
It's like,
Put your hand up.
Are you going to wear this? Because this costs me money. If you don't want to wear it, maybe
like,
we'll give it to someone
But
else.
I think that's the unique thing about sport, and that's why I love sport so much, is it doesn't matter what you believe in, where you're from, what your political backgrounds are. Sport rallies people together from all walks of life, from all backgrounds of belief, and we unite for one common goal.
Yeah.
To cheer on the team. It's pretty special. You could be standing beside someone you have no idea and you're high-fiving after a goal.
Yeah.
Or we're all sad and mad because our team lost at the end of the day. Or we're mad at the refs because of the call. And we all can relate.
Yeah.
The Jets do that for Manitoba, and the Steinbach Pistons do that for our region and southeastern Manitoba to another level that's even more intimate than, say, what the Jets do. And I think that's what makes this unique, and now we can gather people in our region like never before.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're going to have this big professional building. It's going to feel almost like the NHL, right? But then at the same time, how many people in Steinbach, they know you personally, they know Paul, and probably almost every season ticket holder has a personal connection with somebody who is part of the team or real close to the team. And that you don't get even at the level of the Jets or the Bombers or anything.
No,
like
and
that.
our players are accessible. Like, we go into schools and we do different activities with them. Like I said, being a part of the community is essential. We have partnerships with the Pat Porter Active Living Center, with Envision Community Living, with the local schools, minor hockey. So we can get our players out and engaged with the community pretty easily. And when a player comes into a school to read, for I Love to Read Month right now, for example, in February, they don't know the difference between a junior A player and an NHL player. They just see a hockey player, and I mean, they look athletic and the sort, and they're like, wow, look at this guy. And so the players don't even realize sometimes the influence that they have. And so when we go out there and we do these different activities, we can connect with our community, and we can provide that connection point, that emotional connection here in the region. If it's Steinbach to Grunthal to Labrokery to Blumenort, we can do that and unite our area. And I think that's what makes it unique and gives that emotional connection that maybe you wouldn't get. As I'm not saying the Jets don't get out into the community, but they focus more on Winnipeg, and they don't necessarily come out to southeastern Manitoba, where we can provide that emotional connection around our team and our facility like nobody else.
Yeah, well, just with the numbers, the Pistons can reach every single school in the area. Well, I don't know if it takes you over a year or 2 years or whatever it is. No kid is probably getting through elementary school without having the Pistons stop by.
No, and I know, and I want, even from a branding perspective, it's so important, and we have to remind our guys all the time. Not all the time, but we set expectations when we come in. Like, we're a Steinbach Piston, there's different expectations on you than maybe if you were to go to a different team in our league. Why? Because we want to provide you with an atmosphere that's going to make you successful. We want to grow you as a young man and to being a professional, if that's in hockey, but also in your life. And we provide you with an educational assistant. We provide you with development coaches. We provide you with different resources. We have a chaplain on our team that we support so that he can help you with just life. If you have mental things you want to talk about, or mental support to spiritual support. But we provide all those different resources for you. And now we have this building that we can provide for you. But we also expect a lot from you. And to be a Piston, that means, yes, you're playing hockey. But when you're not playing hockey, you're volunteering in our community. You're either taking a course or two to help further yourself, and we'll help you with that. And then also the third piece there is, or you're working in our community, and we provide them with opportunities so they're not just sitting around. We want them to be engaged in our community, and the volunteer piece is huge. And so we ask our guys to volunteer a certain amount of hours every year with us. And some guys might be like, what do we do? Why? But it's just our culture, and it's important. And why? Because when we go to that school and we read to that kid, our classroom of kids, they maybe don't know who the Pistons are, but what do you do when your kids come home from school? You ask them, how was their day? Mm-hmm. And if they say, it was awesome today, there was Pistons in my classroom, and they were so cool, I got a high five, and they autographed something for me, you're going to be like, that's cool. And now they ask, can we go to a Pistons game sometime, Dad? And you're like, maybe we should try it. Yeah. And so maybe it introduces you to the game for the first time, or maybe it gets you to maybe we should commit on those season tickets. This would be a fun family activity for us to do on a regular basis and connect with the community. Instead of going to see a movie, we're going to be part of the community and go do this together. Or you're a sponsor and you're like, maybe I should, and we call you to, hey, do you want to support the team? We got an event coming up. Yeah, I want to support this team because they're a community.
You have those warm feelings about how your kids were raving about
right,
how nice
or it helps solidify sponsors to continue that sponsorship with us.
Yeah.
And so it is essential for us to be a part of our community and our guys to be engaged with our community.
What are the biggest challenges in marketing a junior A hockey team? Because this is this is your life. I've been familiar with it forever, but this is a very niche industry when it actually comes down to it.
I think like if I were to compare my time at High Life to here marketing pork internationally to marketing our Pistons here locally, I think the nice thing about sports marketing is that, well, there are people doing it at a very high level and it's pretty public on what they do. So I can go look at the Jets and see what they do. I can collaborate with professional teams or people that are at the next level and kind of gather information and then make it filtered down to what we do. But I think the big thing, and maybe we're seeing it a little bit with the Winnipeg Jets on how they're winning hockey games, but they're not necessarily filling the building. And maybe there was a disconnect there. I'm not saying what happened. I don't know. I think COVID might have played into that too, where there's now a disconnect between the community and the team. And I think the community is now rallying back. But I think that just goes to show that you can have a successful product on the ice. And that's important because people want to see a winner. They don't want to see a team floundering or just mismanaging talent and not playing well, not representing the community well. Yeah. And so I think there's a big piece there. That's important. But on the other side of it, you got to be connecting and finding ways to take care of your current customers. You got to be like who come to the games regularly. How do you make them feel like they're valued and you value the time and their money that they're giving to the team? But how do you also invest in the community to build that brand equity that then they want to be a part of what you're doing? How do you build that emotional connection? Yeah. So I feel like you can see it at the biggest level all the way down. I think the Winnipeg Blue Bombers do a great job of connecting with the community, and you can see 30,000 people show up on a regular basis. Yeah. They take care of their season ticket holders, and I know we've been looking at their model to try to learn from them because we need to be better. And that was another reason why I joined the team, because now we just have such a bigger thing. And and I think we probably even need more people because it's just still a big role. How do we take care of our current fan base? How do we value them? And how do people can do a lot of different things with their money today. They can go do a wide variety or just stay home and watch Netflix. That's easy.
Yeah.
But how do you create that experience that they want to be a part of? How do you rally the community together and make our community proud? I think hockey plays and sport is kind of a billboard in Canada. It kind of, if the Pistons are running well and operated well, it shows well for Steinbach and Southeastern Manitoba. If we were operated poorly, well, then it also kind of like, well, Steinbach's team doesn't know what they're doing. Like Steinbach must not know what they're doing. Or the Pistons are doing really well. Wow, Steinbach as a community must know what they're doing. Because so it's weird how sport kind of does that. If you're just looking across the teams in our league and you look at, I don't know, the Dauphin Kings or the Portage Terriers, kind of the success of that team almost reflects on the community if you've never been to the community. Yeah. So we hold that as an opportunity, but also a big responsibility. We want to represent Steinbach and Southeastern Manitoba well. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to keep that in mind as we market the team. It's more than just wins. It's everything else around it as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's fun, Chris. It's fun to just sit down and reflect. Sometimes you get so busy that you don't stop and actually think about the why. And It's even good to be reminded about the why, because that's what drives me and it drives us to try to be the best we can be.
Good. Well, good luck in the rest of the season.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay.